Right. So, in respect to that, then, so I take it you don't want in regards to equipment or well, sports attire, Reebok wise, or are you limited? Do you get like two pairs of everything kind of thing, or you can pretty much have whatever you want in that respect?
Say that one more time.
For the clothing, like your trainers, your shorts, and all that kind of stuff that you would train in on a day-to-day basis, do Reebok supply that for you, like unlimited
Not
wise, or
Yeah, not on a day-to-day basis though. They do supply it. So every fight we get a certain amount of clothing to work out with during the fight week, to help us cut weight in. So in case the camera guys come in or we go to the scale and we have to get on the scale for the cameras and everything, we have stuff to wear. And I mean that's pretty much how I built up my Reebok training, or I don't know, I guess apparel.
Mhm.
Just pretty much based on that. So yeah, I got close from that, but I don't know. There's guys who are actually getting stuff sent to them, unless you're a Reebok sponsored athlete within the UFC.
Oh, so what's the difference with that? Is that does that mean that they take more priority of sorts, or they would be on specific marketing campaigns or and stuff like that?
Yeah, those guys are just like that.
Yeah, they kind of messed up the bag, as the Americans would say, in it. No, but with
Yeah.
that situation, because I remember you used to have all those tap out shorts and all that type of thing. So one thing I want to ask you: how bad does it affect you after a loss in the UFC? Is it something that, I mean, I know we've seen Conor and guys like that bounce back, and Aldo and guys like that, but the lesser known guys, how bad does it affect them after a loss, or is it something that?
I mean, it's not like boxing where you lose once and you're just all of a sudden not good. I don't really even understand how that even makes sense in the boxing world. But in MMA, man, losses happen. We're in such a unpredictable sport where literally you've seen some of the best guys in the world lose to guys who on paper had no business even being in a cage with them or had no business even beating them. But that's why you have the fights. That's why there are upsets that happen because you got to go in there, you got to figure it out. But I mean, I've had two split decision losses, and I had one of the flukiest knockouts loss I think that's ever happened to anybody. I don't think there's anybody who's ever been knocked out by shooting into somebody's kick like that. But it happens, man. You know, I made the mistake, and you know he threw a kick, and it just so happens to be that he was the luckier man that night.
So you're gonna go in for the rematch, or
I
do
would
you,
love
or
a
you gotta?
rematch, 100%. I think that fight was just starting to shake up really good. I think he got to display his striking a little bit. He clipped me early behind the ear. I missed my check hook, and he managed to get his left hook around my right hand when I was throwing my punch as he was stepping in. I fell down. I got back up, and when he stepped into my guard, he was trying to go for the finish, but none of the punches were really doing anything. I mean, I think it was hitting like the top of my head, and I tried to latch onto his arm for the triangle, which I did have for a second. He got his head out, and I
Hmm.
switched over to an armbar, and he got
Yeah.
out, and I just got a taste of that his elbow locking out, and I was like, man, if I get this guy back down again, I'm gonna submit him,
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind. And I kind of got up, and I was just really impatient, and I tried to just bum rush the guy without actually setting anything up. So it
Yeah.
was really my lack of mental focus right there. I kind of got impatient, and usually I'm like super calculated. I always take my time with stuff. Some people
Yeah.
even think I'm too cautious and I play it too safe. But I think my last two fights, I really opened up with my hands and my kicks and my whole game overall. You know, I've been taking more chances in my last few fights because just those two split decision losses hurt me. And then this one, I tried to jump the gun way too early, and I paid for it. I paid the ultimate payday that you could pay in an MMA fight.
How does that put you in ranking standings? He's not going to jump you or anything, is he?
Uh, well, he was already ahead of me, but
I
yeah, I think anybody that watched that fight with any type of common sense who actually knows the sport knows that that was the luckiest thing that could have ever happened. There was no skill really involved in that. That's like someone who's just playing around in the gym and they play sparring, they throw a kick and you shoot into it. I've actually cut guys by them running into my knee by me throwing a kick, but it wasn't me like purposefully trying to do that, you know? It's them shooting in and they shoot from too far and I'm throwing a kick at the same time and he just catches them. So it's just one of those things, you know? But like I said, man, it is what it is. He knew he also said himself that wasn't what he was trying to do, but at the end of the day, he's gonna take the win, you know. So
yeah, you can take the win by any means. So you're back in the gym now.
Tomorrow will be my actual first day.
Okay, and then when have you spoke to them guys in regards to when you can get back in the octagon?
We're supposed to get on the phone Tuesday, Wednesday this week, and I'm looking at maybe a late March, probably more likely be an April return. You know, it's the crazy thing to me about the whole knockout is I've been knocked out on training before, and I had vertigo pretty bad where I thought my career was pretty much over. You know, I got really, really nervous about it, and that happened early last year in February. And then, you know, I was just very concerned about it. And then for this one, I literally woke up, or should I say when I came to and actually realized I got my entire bearings back, I realized like there was no side effects. I felt completely fine, which was very, very odd. And yeah, because I thought that knockout compared to the other one was a lot worse. The other one was it kicked me like in the neck, in the back of my head, kind of. But this one was like right on the chin. So I thought I was going to be shaking up for a while, but surprisingly I wasn't. You know, I was really happy about that. But it's strange how this whole thing works.
Definite. And that's your first KO loss, right?
First KO loss, yeah. First time I ever been stopped.
Yeah.
Still BS to me, but whatever. I'll make up for it. That's the only thing.
Oh, definitely. Listen, we got no doubts in our minds that you're gonna come back sharper and better. That's not without a doubt. And definitely, Marlon did have a very classy response. He wasn't all, you know, over the top with it and all that. But from what I read from his interviews and stuff, he's not really looking for a rematch, is he?
No, I haven't really listened to any of his stuff. I listened to one of them. And that was the Ariel Helwani show, because I did an interview on that segment the very next week. I mean, he pretty much he said the same thing I said. It's like when you throw that switch kick, you lead with the knee, and it's just one of those things. I end up just shooting into it. So it wasn't necessarily a skill set thing where he set something up and it was complete dominance where you could be like, all right. The guy got knocked out, but the guy was clearly outclassing this guy. You know, it wasn't anything like that, which lets me know like I'm still in a good spot. It's just one of those things. People get caught, and I got caught. I got caught really, really bad, but I'm good. The main thing that matters to me is just that I'm in good health and I can continue to do what I love doing. I can bounce back, and I got the opportunity to still right the ship.
Definitely. I mean, who would you like next, fight-wise?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what. I don't. It's a weird situation. I guess that's why we gotta get on the phone. You know, it's technically a knockout, so that usually bumps you down the ladder. But at the same time, it wasn't like, you know, it's just one of those weird things. Like I don't know where I stand in terms of who I can possibly fight, and I believe the top 15 of the division is still tied up right now anyway. So I gotta just see who's available and kind of just pick something from there and get something going.
Would you be open to be on standby for a top 15 fight?
100%. That's why I'm starting my training, and tomorrow I'm gonna get myself back in a good shape, get the abs going again, and then gotta get the machine ready to go.
Definite. And you touched on that CPD oil that you're sponsored by. Just give some details about the sponsor, and also for the siblings who might not know what the effects of CPD oil is. Is it CPD oil or CBD oil?
CBD.
CBD, that's it.
I mean,
What are the benefits of having that?
I'm not the best at explaining it, but the best way to put it is we all have receptors in our body, and I think our brains as
In the
well.
brain, yeah, the
Yeah,
brain receptors.
yeah. For CBD, for I forgot the actual name for it, cannabidiol, something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Cannabinoids. Yeah.
Yeah, that thing. so so taking that, it's supposed to help with like it's supposed to be all the health benefits that you get with smoking weed without the psychoactive
Yeah,
effects
the
of
THC.
feeling
Yeah,
that
yes.
high of the THC. Yeah. So that's the thing that I like about it because I know people who just smoke all day. I'm like, dude, I can't smoke like that and then go try to train. Like, this just won't happen. This I can wake up, I can hit it, I can use the oil or the tinctures, which is like a mouth drop. I can do that before training, after training, and it just relaxes me and it helps me sleep at night. That's the main thing I take it for. And especially after that knockout, I mean, I probably took as much of that as I possibly could have, because it's supposed to help with any like injuries and stuff like that as well. I don't know how much it helps with like um brain stuff, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But
It
it's
must have some form of positive effect based upon it having within the brains cannabinoid receptors. So there
yeah,
must be some
exactly.
kind of yeah. So yeah. Okay. And who is the actual speaker? Some more details about the sponsor. Give them a bit of a shine.
Pure Spectrum. They are a company based out in Colorado, and I don't know how familiar you guys are with the states, but in Colorado, it's actually legal to just go to the store and pick up an eighth and pick up any type of amount of marijuana
Yeah.
that you want to pick up, and it's legal to you could smoke. It's okay out there, and so that's where they're based out of, and Pure Spectrum. So I get like a 20% off on discount code that I typically anybody who's trying to get some of the stuff. That's what I give them. I point them in that direction because they're supposedly, and from my understanding, from all the research I've done and compared them to other companies, one of the best CBD companies out there
Okay.
in terms of all the reviews and everything. That's why it's pretty cool. So to be paired up with these guys is actually, I guess it's a blessing for me. That's the way I look at it.
Mm.
There's
Definitely for
not,
using the product as well.
there's a lot of companies I know that cut their stuff with like a lot of other things that aren't the greatest stuff to have as well.
Definitely, definitely. And was it international shipping or is it just for the USA?
I don't know. That's actually a good question. I had some people who were asking me from actually in London and Canada and some other foreign countries. I got a lot of fans across the seas, which is pretty cool. But I got to find out about that.
Okay, okay. Um, and so let's talk about 2018. How many? I mean, being as positive as you can. You don't normally take any much punishment in regards to your style and stuff. How many times would you like to fight this year?
I'm looking at 2 or 3, if possible. Last year I had 4. If I could get 2 or 3, that'd be pretty happy with that. I coach kids, man. I coach wrestling, which typically takes up a lot of my time. But if I can get at least 2 in, I'll be happy. But if I can get 3 in, that would be even better.
Okay, okay. And yeah, I don't think we got onto this. Previously I mentioned the Fighters Union. What are your thoughts on that? And is that stuff still taking place? Like, are they still looking to try and create this?
I don't know. I saw an article some guy sent me the other night. I read it about the expansion of the Ali Act, but I don't know exactly what's happening with it. I was following it a lot in the early beginnings, but I think after a couple of years of them keep saying things were going to happen, I kind of just lost interest. It just seemed like all these guys were doing stuff and nothing was really happening from it.
Okay. Do you see benefits from it? I mean, are fighters treated that bad that they need a union kind of thing?
Are we treated that bad? I don't know if we're treated that bad. Are we taken advantage of or exploited to certain degrees? I would say we're pretty much right on that fence.